In ancient times, there existed divine beings called the Aedra, or original spirits. One day, the being Lorcan tricked some of the Aedra into creating a mortal realm called Mundus. These Aedra lost their power in the act of creation and became the Aedra. On the other hand, those who did not participate in creation retained their power. They have since had an undeniable influence on the planet Nirn. These gods have been called demons, hellspawn, and sometimes saviors, but are best known as the Daedra. Fact 1. In Aldmeri, Aedra means our ancestors, while Daedra means not our ancestors. Fact 2. The realms of the Daedra are all infinite in size. Fact 3. The Daedric realms are extension of the Daedra's very being. In other words, when you're wandering Apocrypha, you're actually wandering inside the entity that is Hermaeus Mora himself. Fact 4. All of the Daedric Princes are genderless, but the majority choose to take an exclusively male or female appearance. Mephala and Boethiah are exceptions to this, appearing sometimes as male, other times as female. Fact 5. Oblivion, a collective term for the Daedric realms, surrounds Mundus. Oblivion is in turn surrounded by Aetherius, realm of the Aedra. Fact 6. In addition to the 16 major Daedric realms, there are over 37,000 pocket realms of Oblivion. Fact 7. The night sky is mortals' perception of Oblivion and the result of mortal incapacity to comprehend the infinite-sized realm of Oblivion. Fact 8. Magnus, the architect of the mortal realm, fled during creation and tore a huge hole in Oblivion that became the sun. The day sky is colored the way it is due to the multicolored elemental cloak of the sun. Fact 9. When Magnus fled from Nirn, a group of Aedra followed him, tearing smaller holes in Oblivion that became the stars. These Aedra are called the Magna Gi, or Children of Magnus. Fact 10. There was once a Magna Gi called Meridia who consorted with the Daedra. For this act, she was cast down and became the Daedric Prince Meridia. Fact 11. Meridia is the Daedric Prince of life and energy, and has a great hatred for the undead. Her realm is called the Colored Rooms, created by shaping the rays of the sun. Fact 12. Meridia's champion, Umaril, had a divine father from a previous Kalpa. That is, he came from a previous cycle of the creation and destruction of the world. Fact 13. Azura is the Daedric Prince of Dusk and Dawn. Her realm of Oblivion is Moonshadow, a giant garden full of roses and a city of silver. It is said to be so beautiful, mortals are rendered half-blind upon seeing it. Fact 14. Once, a Dwemer asked Azura what was inside a box he was holding. Being a Daedra, Azura immediately knew there was a flower inside, but the Dwemer had tricked her, and when he opened the box, there was no flower. It is said that Azura harbors a great hatred for the Dwemer because of this. Fact 15. Azura and Nocturnal are said to be sisters, but what exactly is meant by this is unknown. Fact 16. Before the Dunmer existed, there was a race of Mer called the Chimer. The champion of the Chimer and of Azura was Indoral Nerevar, but his generals killed him and betrayed Azura. As punishment, Azura transformed all Chimer into the Dunmer, or Cursed Ones. Fact 17. Nerevar's generals, Almalexia, Sothasil, and Vivek, became living gods known as the Tribunal. Their spheres of influence coincided with Boethiah, Azura, and Mephala respectively. Some believe the Tribunal mantled these Daedra, or took their place in the universe. Fact 18. There once existed an extremely powerful Daedric prince called Jyggalag, Prince of Order. But the other Daedra grew jealous of him and turned him into the prince of that which he hated most, madness. This is the origin of Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. Fact 19. The servants of Sheogorath are the Ariels, or Golden Saints, and the Mazkin, or Dark Seducers. Both are matriarchal societies in which even the men believe the woman to be superior. Fact 20. The realm of Sheogorath is called the Shivering Isles. It is divided into 3 parts, Mania, Dementia, and the Fringe. Mania is bright and beautiful, while Dementia is dark, depressing, and rainy. Mania is guarded by the Golden Saints, while Dementia is guarded by the Dark Seducers. Fact 21. The divide between mania and dementia represents the split personality of Sheogorath. This harkens back to the fact that a Daedra's realm is actually that Daedra itself. Fact 22. Once every era, Sheogorath becomes Jyggalag once again, then attacks and burns everything in the Shivering Isles to the ground. This event is called the Grey March. During the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion in the DLC Shivering Isles, the protagonist defeated Jyggalag and ended the cycle, leaving Jyggalag free to wander Oblivion in his true form. Following this, the protagonist became Sheogorath, meaning the Sheogorath we see in Skyrim may in fact be the protagonist of Oblivion. Fact 23. Before the Shivering Isles DLC, Jyggalag was only ever mentioned in the book On Oblivion in the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. In addition, Jyggalag is the only Daedric prince to not appear in Skyrim and to not currently have his own realm. Fact 24. Sheogorath caused an asteroid called Bar Dao to fall to the city of Vivec, named for Vivec. In response, Vivec himself simply lifted a hand and stopped it in midair, but let the asteroid remain. So if the people of his city ever stopped loving him, the asteroid would fall and kill them. Fact 25. In Era 4, Vivec disappeared, so two Dunmer, Sol, and Vuhan made a pact with Clavicus Vile to create a machine that would keep the asteroid afloat. The machine, called the Infinium, was powered by mortal souls. Fact 26. In 4th Era Year 5, Vuhan attempted to sacrifice Sol's lover, and in an attempt to save her, Sol destroyed the Infinium. As a result, the asteroid hit the city, and tremors caused the Red Mountain to subsequently erupt. Fact 27. After the destruction of the Infinium, Sol and Vuhan were thrown into Oblivion. Later, Vuhan created a new Infinium, and used it to free a piece of land from Clavicus Vile's realm. This island became the floating city of Umbriel, kept afloat by the souls of people killed below the city. Fact 28. There appears to be some sort of connection between Sheogorath and Lorkhan. Specifically, Aldmeri creation stories claim Sheogorath was created when Lorkhan lost his divine spark. Fact 29. There are 6 unique artifacts associated with Sheogorath, more than any other prince. Fact 30. Sheogorath is prominent in Khajiit culture and is known as Sheogorath, the skooma cat. Fact 31. There is a region in Morrowind called Sheogorad, named after Sheogorath. This region is named as such because the Chimer once revered Sheogorath, but when the Tribunal came into power, his status changed. Sheogorath rebelled against the Tribunal, and so his worship became punishable by death. His role in Dunmer culture is to test them for psychological weakness. Fact 32. Sheogorath, along with Molag Bal, Mehrunes Dagon, and Malacath, is one of the 4 corners of the House of Troubles. This is a Dunmer term for bad Daedra, whose purpose is to test the resolve of mortals. Fact 33. The 16 Accords of Madness are stories of Sheogorath's triumphs over other Daedra. There are supposedly 16 volumes, but we have only ever seen 3, in which Sheogorath wins victories over Hircine, Vermina, and Malacath. These victories were achieved by Sheogorath tricking the other princes into defeating themselves. Fact 34. Molag Bal is the Daedric prince of rape, domination, and enslavement. His realm Cold Harbor is a post-apocalyptic replica of Nirn. Fact 35. The first ever vampire was created when Molag Bal defiled a human woman. In doing so, he simultaneously invented rape, vampirism, and undeath. Fact 36. According to the 36 lessons of Vivec, Molag Bal married Vivec and the two had many children. The lessons also state that Vivec lay with Molag Bal for 88 days. Fact 37. In Aldmeri, Molag means fire, while Bal means stone. For this reason, Meridia refers to Molag Bal as Stonefire. Fact 38. Molag Bal appears to be inspired by the Canaanite deities Molech and Bal. Fact 39. Vivec possessed a spear called Muatra. According to the lessons of Vivec, he bit off Molag Bal's manhood and used it to create Muatra. Fact 40. There was once a great battle between a group of Aldmer led by an Aedra called Trinimac and the Chimer led by Boethiah. Boethiah defeated and then devoured Trinimac, and his remains were transformed into Malacath. Fact 41. The realm belonging to Malacath is Ashpit, consisting of almost nothing but dust, ash, and smoke. It was not an original plane of Oblivion, but spawned when Malacath came into being. Fact 42. According to Sheogorath, Ashpit is held together by a literal backbone. Fact 43. The Aldmer who followed Trinimac were also transformed, becoming the first Orcs or Orsimer. Fact 44. In 3rd Era 399, the leader of the Orc capital Orsinium proclaimed Malacath was a false god and Trinimac was their true god. Many Orcs regarded this as a heresy, creating a huge divide in the Orcish religion. Fact 45. According to legend, Hammerfell received its name when a Dwemer king threw his hammer Volendrung across Tamriel, proclaiming that where it landed, his people would settle. Volendrung later became an artifact of Malacath, which is rather ironic because Malacath and the Dwemer were bitter enemies. Fact 46. Long ago, when Nirn was folded up for unknown reasons, Tamriel left an imprint that became the continent Lig. Mehrunes Dagon, the Daedric Prince of Destruction, Revolution, and Ambition, was created in the Battles of Lig by the Magna Gi. Fact 47. Lig was once ruled by powerful aquatic creatures called drows. In an event known as the Fall of Lig, Dagon struck down Lig, proclaiming it free of the rulership of the drows. Fact 48. In the First Era, Dagon destroyed Ald Sotha, the supposed birthplace of Sotha-Sil. He also destroyed Mournhold, the capital of Morrowind, in one of the most devastating attacks on the mortal realm. Dagon was eventually banished back to Oblivion by the joint efforts of Almalexia and Sotha-Sil. Fact 49. Daedra can never truly die, meaning any destruction wrought by Dagon in Oblivion is ultimately reversed. On the other hand, Tamriel can truly be destroyed, as it is populated by mortals. This is one reason why Dagon constantly seeks to invade Tamriel. Fact 50. Clavicus Vile is the Daedric Prince of power, trickery, bargains, and strangely enough, serenity. She enjoys striking deals with mortals, then twisting them in a way that is harmful to said mortals. Fact 51. Clavicus Vile rules over an unnamed realm that is a tranquil countryside inhabited by hostile yellow Daedra. His realm is visited in the spin-off game Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. Fact 52. Clavicus Vile is likely inspired by a demon from German folklore called Mephistopheles. Fact 53. At one point in time, Vile altered the blood of Cyrodiilic vampires, allowing them to walk in daylight and blend into mortal society undetected. Fact 54. Hermaeus Mora is the Daedric Prince of knowledge and memory. His realm is Apocrypha, which is an endless library of forbidden knowledge. Fact 55. There is an ancient Atmoran demon called Mora, otherwise known as Woodland Man, who catches villagers lost in the woods. In fact, Mora means wood or woodland in Elvish. There are also many tales of Ysgramor escaping the clutches of this Mora. Mora is also called the Demon of Knowledge, and is almost certainly the same entity as Hermaeus Mora. Fact 56. Hermaeus Mora is a god in the Bosmeri pantheon and was worshipped by a Bosmer cult called the Wooded Eye. This cult protected a hidden library of Hermaeus Mora located in Greenshade. Fact 57. The Oghma Infinium is Hermaeus Mora's primary artifact. It was written by Xerxes, the scribe of Ariel, who had been granted the knowledge to write it by Hermaeus Mora. It is named after Xerxes' wife, Oghma. Fact 58. The Black Books are another artifact of Hermaeus Mora. Some are written in the past and some written in the future, which is possible because the normal rules governing time do not apply to Hermaeus Mora. Fact 59. Reymon Ebonarm is the Yokudan god of war and is an acknowledged enemy of all Daedric princes except Sheogorath. Fact 60. Mephala is the Daedric prince of lies, sex, murder, and secrets. Her realm is called the Spiral Skein and is made to resemble the Arbic Wheel, with the tower or pillar palace of Mephala at the center, and the 8 strands of the skein surrounding it like spokes on a wheel. Fact 61. Mephala directly founded the Morag Tong, a guild of assassins based in Morrowind. The Dark Brotherhood sprung off from the Morag Tong, and many even believe the Night Mother is another form of Mephala. Fact 62. Mephala is the sibling of Hermaeus Mora, an ally of Malacath, and an enemy of Ebonarm, Molag Bal, and Periite. Fact 63. The Ebony Blade is a major artifact of Mephala. Early in the Second Era, an Altmer uncovered and began studying the blade. As he did so, Mephala's whisperings corrupted his mind, prompting him to trap the souls of his own students and his own wife. Eventually, his wife's soul was freed, but she sacrificed her soul to put a charm on the blade so it would not remain in the hands of any mortal for too long. Fact 64. Boethiah is the prince of treachery, secret plots of murder, and unlawful overthrow of authority, but still considered by some to be one of the good Daedra. Boethiah is an ally of the Temple of Stendarr, and Aedra and god of mercy and justice. Fact 65. Boethiah's servants are a race called the Hunger. For unknown reasons, they are also found in the Shivering Isles. Fact 66. Goldbrand is a gold katana and an artifact of Boethiah. It has an alternate form, Eltonbrand, which is a reference to the basketball player Elton Brand. It was used by Emperor Titus Mede II in the Battle of Red Ring during the Great War. Fact 67. Boethiah's enemies are Ebonarm, Peryite, and Molag Bal. Of particular note is the rivalry between Boethiah and Molag Bal. This rivalry seems to have developed because Molag Bal is the Daedric Prince of Domination, while Boethiah encourages treachery against authority. Fact 68. The Daedric Prince Hircine is known as Huntsman of the Princes. His realm, called Hircine's Hunting Grounds, is composed of vast grasslands, dense woodlands, and endless mazes. It is home to creatures many times larger than those of the mortal realm. Fact 69. Hircine created lycanthropy. Known lycanthropes include werewolves, werebats, werebears, wereboars, werevultures, werelions, werecrocodiles, and weresharks. Fact 70. Hircine means pertaining to or resembling a goat in Middle English. Fact 71. Hircine appears once every 1,000 years in the mortal realm to enjoy a great hunt. This event is the focus of the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind DLC Blood Moon, which takes place on Solstheim. Fact 72. Hircine is never mentioned in the early history of Nirn, so scholars believe he came into being after the original Daedric Princes were established, similar to how Malacath came into being. Fact 73. Nymeria is the Daedric Prince of Ancient Darkness. Her realm is called the Scuttling Void, but nothing of it is known besides its name. Fact 74. The following is a quote from a Khajiit source. When Lorkhan was born, the Great Darkness knew its name, and it was Nymeria. This indicates a connection between Lorkhan and Nymeria. Fact 75. Nymeria is the patron of Tamriel's cannibals and also appears to be associated with beggars. In the First Era, a mortal named Weedle saved a vagabond who was actually Nymeria. He begged at her feet for 33 days and nights to be her apprentice, after which Nymeria rewarded him with her power. He used this power to become the legendary Prince of Beggars. Fact 76. Nymeria's only artifact is the Ring of Nymeria. It was awarded to the protagonist of the Elder Scrolls II, Daggerfall, for killing a vampire, awarded to the protagonist of Oblivion for killing a group of priests of Arkay, and awarded to the Dragonborn for killing and eating a priest of Arkay. As one can see, Nymeria has a great hatred for Arkay, and Aedra and Lord of the Wheel of Life. Fact 77. Nocturnal is the Daedric Prince of Night and Darkness, as well as patron deity of the Thieves Guild. Her realm is called the Evergloam. The Ebonmere is a portal to the Evergloam located in Skyrim, and is the conduit that allows Nocturnal to manifest in Tamriel. Fact 78. The first artifact of Nocturnal is the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal. It appeared and was obtainable in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. The cowl was stolen from Nocturnal herself by the first guildmaster of the Thieves Guild. Fact 79. The second artifact of Nocturnal is the Skeleton Key, available in Skyrim. The Skeleton Key can not only unlock any physical lock, but any metaphysical lock as well. For example, it can unlock human potential. It is also used to unlock and hold open the Ebonmere. Fact 80. The Bow of Shadows is the final artifact of Nocturnal. It is a bow forged by Nocturnal herself that grants invisibility and increased speed. It appears in Morrowind and the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. Fact 81. Shade Perilous is a pocket realm of the Evergloam and the focal point of Nocturnal's power. It is also home to Nocturnal's palace as well as Nocturnal herself. Crow's Wood is another pocket realm of the Evergloam, resembling a nightmare forest and home to sentient crows who make up the Blackfeather Court. Fact 82. The Nightingales are a secret inner circle of the Thieves Guild that protects the Twilight Sepulchre and ensures the Skeleton Key remains there. The Dragonborn can request entry into the Hall of Valor in Sovngarde by right as a Nightingale of Nocturnal. Fact 83. Peryite is the Daedric Prince of Natural Order and Pestilence. His realm is named the Pits, filled with lava seas and volcanic islands. Fact 84. Peryite is depicted as a green dragon, but is considered to be one of the weakest princes. According to an out-of-game source, his followers are to regard his similarity in appearance to Akatosh as a joke. Fact 85. Slode are slug-like creatures that live on Thras, located near the Somerset Isles. On the Somerset Isles, there is a shrine to Peryite that depicts Altmer fighting Slode. Moreover, the Slode engineered the Thracian Plague, which killed half of Tamriel's population, while Peryite is the Daedric Prince of Pestilence. There clearly appears to be some sort of connection between Peryite and the Slode. Fact 86. Peryite's artifact is Spellbreaker, a shield that once belonged to a Dwemer king and provides protection against magic. It is one of the few Daedric artifacts that appears in all 5 main series Elder Scrolls games. Fact 87. Sanguine is the Daedric Prince of hedonistic revelry and debauchery. He rules over the myriad realms of revelry, which are composed of 100,000 pocket realms of Oblivion. Fact 88. Sanguine's ally is Vermina, and his enemies are Ebonarm and Mora. Fact 89. Sanguine created 27 enchanted items for Mephala to bestow upon the Morag Tong. These items are known as the 27 threads of the web spinner. Fact 90. Sanguine's primary artifact is the Sanguine Rose. It can summon lesser Daedra from Oblivion who attack all but the wielder. With each use, the Sanguine Rose wilts, and when all of its petals fall, it loses its power. When this happens, a new rose blooms somewhere in Sanguine's realm. Fact 91. Vermina is Daedric Prince of Nightmares. Her realm is Quagmire, a realm of horrors where reality shifts to a new terrifying vision with each flash of lightning. Fact 92. Nightmares are caused by mortals temporarily slipping into Quagmire while asleep. It is also possible to enter Quagmire while awake through magical teleportation, as shown by the mage Morian Zenus. Fact 93. In the Book of the Daedra in Skyrim, Vermina's name is misspelled as Vernima. Fact 94. Vermina's most well-known artifact is the Skull of Corruption, available in Daggerfall, Oblivion, Skyrim, and ESO. In Oblivion, it creates a clone of the target that attacks the original. However, in Skyrim, it simply deals damage to the target and can be powered up with people's dreams. Fact 95. The Orb of Vermina is another major artifact of Vermina. It is thought to be extremely powerful, but its only currently known power is the ability to spy on remote locations. Fact 96. Where Vermina's influence is strong, such as near her artifacts, Quagmire and Mundus merge. Fact 97. The Soul Cairn is a plane of Oblivion not ruled by any Daedric prince, but by shadowy figures called the Ideal Masters. It is believed that the Ideal Masters have transcended beyond any physical manifestation. However, mortals are able to speak with them, as the player is able to speak with them during the spin-off game Battlespire. Fact 98. The Chimera of Desolation is another realm of Oblivion that appears in Battlespire. It was created when Mehrunes Dagon threw an actual island from Tamriel into the void of Oblivion. Fact 99. In the First Era, an incredibly powerful Nordic mage named Shalador created the island of Ivea. He later traded it to Sheogorath, and it was incorporated into the Shivering Isles. In the Second Era, during the events of ESO, it is brought back into Mundus from Oblivion. Fact 100. Lorcan is an enigmatic being. The majority of scholars theorize he's either an Aedra or neither Aedra nor Daedra, but something else entirely. However, according to Mankar Cameron, Lorcan is a Daedric prince whose plane is Tamriel. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for the video. If you want to learn more about the Daedra or about Elder Scrolls lore in general, check the description for links to videos done by myself and by others on the subject. Also, please be sure to drop me a like if you enjoyed the video, as it helps me out a lot. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching and have an awesome rest of your day.